So so I will call the meeting to order. And the first item is to approve the minutes of October 20th, which I have read. I hope everyone else has. So I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes as written.
This is Evelyn. I make that motion.
And do I
to
have a
approve minutes
second?
as written.
Brian, do I have a second? There we go. All right, all in favor? Can I just see
Aye.
hands here?
Aye.
Aye. All right, those are approved. Terry isn't here yet, so I'll wait on that. Evelyn, what do the friends have to report?
Okay. We met last Wednesday, December 8th, and we approved the funding for several items. The biggest was 4 air purifiers for for anywhere. They're portable, but certainly they would do the job in the large meeting room, the Great Pond Room. And thanks to Steve, who researched this with the Tai Chi instructor, who was knowledgeable, and in looking into it, $2,500 was approved for that purchase. And one of the things about this is that if what am I trying to say? If the town was to fund this, it would probably take 2 years to go through the process and actually get them installed. And so this is a measure that will just increase the margin of safety in that large room, or even in the conference room or other small rooms, using one of them, to just add an additional element of safety. So that's one thing. The second is the cornball game, which Suzanne had recommended, was one of those was approved, picturing perhaps a game day in 2022. The other thing is that the walks are going on, although I've been away, but it looked like we might have been rained out on Saturday. Is that right, Steve? Laura's not there.
No, Lillian actually went, and I think Laura was there and one other person, but that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was suffering from back injury, so I didn't go.
Oh, okay. So this week's walk at 9:30 is going to be through the town, meeting at the town parking lot next to Town Hall. So that's been, Terry has been doing e-blasts on the schedule and trying to remind people on her email list that this is coming up. And there's we did out a schedule for 6 weeks, and that's been a volunteer effort. It's a free program, but it's under the auspice of the COA and the Adult Community Center. So that's overall been doing well. And it's also increased, there are some people who have never been in the building and weren't familiar with the programs. So it's a good opportunity to introduce more people. And as we get new emails, Terry adds those to her email blast list. So I'm sure you are all on that list. I would hope that if you're not a friend of the Friends of the COA, that you take out a membership. We're really trying to expand our membership, and that has been going. It's slow relative to the number of people over 50 in the town. However, we keep pushing. So our next meeting is on January the 2nd. We set the second Wednesday of every month as our meeting date at 1:00, and we meet at the center. Since we're not a town organization, we're a private nonprofit. So if anybody is interested in ever attending a meeting, just let me know, and we can, send you the agenda and anything else that's relevant. prior to that. The other thing is we are looking to expand our board. We have 7 board members currently, and we really would like at least another 2. So I think that is it. Appreciate that. And by the way, there will be a walk on New Year's Day, a lovely way to, begin. Most people begin an exercise program in January after all the holidays. So anyway, it'll be January 1st, 9:30 at Audubon. And Patty Shannon is really expert on those trails, so she will be leading us. So thank you. I don't know if there's any questions.
No, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Since and the next thing on
Evelyn, I do have a question about the walks.
Yes.
There is the medical requirement. What happens
Right.
when well, like Karen was here, she wanted to go on a walk, and I said that she couldn't because she didn't have the medical clearance. What do you do with casual people who want to join the walk?
What we do is give them a form to complete and bring it to the building, to the center building, and the staff expedites that. So yeah, so that we don't. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, because we could have. So in other words, they're going on one walk for without having that authorized. But I think most people are aware of their limitations, hopefully. But also, there are some people that do much better on a flat surface level versus the up and down hills of a trail. So right now we are scheduling a pier walk, which is a half a mile loop, twice a month. And we'll see how that goes. And therefore, people can walk a half mile or up to 2 miles, whatever they want. So anyway, that's that. I'm sorry that if Karen is interested, that can be done pretty easily.
Well, alas, she's going home today. That's why.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Next time.
Next time. Well, I'm thinking of other people,
Sure.
relatives who come who don't have a physician in town that can sign off on a medical document.
That's right. All right, because it's faxed to the physician of record, and if there was any that came back with no, you can't do this, we'd be notified.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Laura just joined the meeting.
Excuse me?
Laura just joined the meeting, right?
okay, so are we any other questions of Evelyn? Okay, all right. Thank you, Evelyn.
You're welcome.
So then I guess now I've sort of thrown it open in the agenda to discuss programming matters and outreach. I know I think it was you, Steve, that had some concerns about outreach, and so
Well, I'll tell you, here were my concerns, which some have been addressed already. And that is that one thing we had discussed at the Friends meeting with Suzanne is having an article written in the Independent about the walk program, which would give a introduction to, in a sense, the programs being done under the auspices of the Adult Center. And Suzanne is friendly with one of the lead reporters, so that was something we discussed, which would give us some, in a sense, free publicity, and also get the idea that the Adult Center being renamed and trying to reach some younger people. That was one thing. Secondly, we had seen that the website for the town hadn't changed its name to the adult center from the old name of the senior center. Well, that's been done, but then I discovered, looking at it for other reasons, that there's a description there talking about the hours, and it says the building's locked and people can't use it. And I sent an email to Suzanne with I tacked onto it the text from the website. I mean, that's pretty awful. Basically, if someone goes on a website looking for this thing, what they find out is that we're not operable. I mean, I think it's a certain, how should I say, lack of effort here of getting the word out that we're here, we're functioning. And our last meeting of friends, Suzanne went over a whole laundry list of programs that have either started or going to start. So I think we need to do a better job of that. And then the last thing is the signage thing. The sign on Route 6, I believe, is down. The one on where you turn from where PJ's is still talks about the senior center, and the one that we were going to add with the new logo and everything right at the entrance has gone nowhere. Now Lillian's sort of picking this up, and but I think we need to go and do a much better job of rebranding and getting the word out. So that was one of my concerns.
Now, you mentioned the website saying we're closed. Is if I look today, would I see the same message?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they changed it since I sent
Okay.
it. But what it says, if you look under hours of operation, it says that the center is not open to the public during COVID. Now, it doesn't define who the public is, and it doesn't, I mean, COVID's a pretty vague term. We're probably going to have COVID for the rest of our lives, in some form or another. So I'm just telling you what I saw a couple of days ago and pointed out to Suzanne. Possibly they've changed it already. I hope so.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion, Steve. If you could just not so much the website, but if you could just do a memo up about your signage concerns, and then send that on to Suzanne and copy the rest of the board.
I'll tell you, I think we covered it. Evelyn, you can.
Yeah, Suzanne.
On last meeting.
Yeah, Lillian is contacting the sign person that Suzanne gave us and it's hopefully the staff will work with Lillian closely to make sure that gets done.
Okay, that's all I wanted to make sure of. Someone's taking that on.
Well, can I mention one other thing while we're on this subject? There was a discussion at the Friends Board meeting to determining how effective some of the programs are in the sense of how many people are actually attending. So we have limited resources, and we don't want to spend time and money for things that 2 or 3 people attend. So we raised that issue with Suzanne, and she said, "Oh yeah, we track all that because when you sign in." Well, Lillian and I were there on Monday or I guess Tuesday, actually yesterday, for the Tai Chi program, which I will just add as an aside is a terrific program, and I recommend it to everybody. And since I and Tom are the only Jim rather the only men that's attended, it's really worthwhile. But in any event, that system where you sign in isn't functioning. So what she said about tracking is just not accurate. I mean, and I think it's a worthwhile exercise to go and find out, which programs are being used and which ones, and put our emphasis on the ones that are really reaching a broad level. So I think we need to go and talk to Suzanne about this, because unless I'm wrong, I didn't see that thing. I don't even know if I have that little sign-in thing that you used to put in front of the screen there. So I just raised that as another point.
Okay, I will contact Suzanne and Terry and ask about that.
Will, can I say something about the signs really quickly too?
Oh, sure.
Not only does the large sign that's outside of the entrance to the building needs to be replaced, but at the Friends meeting, Suzanne talked about the DPW would be making signs. There's one that's Cahoon Hollow Road by PJ's, and I think there's another one at where Old County meets Route 6 that need to be replaced that say the Adult Community Center as opposed to the Senior Center. And there's one other one that we did talk to Suzanne about this on our last Friends meeting, but I think it's good to have other people say, like for you to write to her to ask her, because sometimes things are said and then there isn't any follow-up. There's one other sign that's at the corner of Old County Road and Cahoon Hollow. It's a big sign, and she said that she could get stickers to put there, so that sign wouldn't need to be replaced, but it would it would cover the Senior Center and it would add the Adult Community Center. But I think my concern is just, is the rubber meets the road and the things actually get done. Because we've been, the change of the name has been probably close to 2 years. It was before the pandemic. And it seems to me that during the course of the shutdown time, it would have been a great opportunity to get that signage changed. But anyway, so maybe just the letter from you, I think, is probably a really good thing.
Okay.
Or a phone call, I don't know, whatever.
Robin? Robin?
The sign at the bottom, you realize it's 6 a.m. here, so I'm not really coherent, but the sign at the bottom by the Senior Center, which has been gone for a year, I've had friends who have come to meet us there for some walk or something, and they didn't know where it was because the sign was gone. There has not been a sign there forever, not just a change of name. And I don't understand it because the whole post is sitting there, but there's no sign.
This is where
It's at
Robin?
when you are at the Senior Center and you're leaving, you will go down the driveway right on that Old County Road. The sign's been gone forever. So people don't even know where it is.
Yeah, that's the one. It's right when you enter the Senior Center. There was
Right.
I will say progress is being made in that, we're going to put a new sign. I think Lillian's going to add the logo that was designed for, that we use on everything. And it was going no place. And at the last meeting, Robin, Lillian raised this with Suzanne, and what they decided is that Lillian would deal directly with this person who they recommend to make the sign. And if he's not available, we'd have to find somebody else. But I think at least it's in progress now.
Good.
Can I just make a comment? This is Evelyn. We've got to get rid of the term Senior Center from our vocabularies, or we won't be able to help other people do that. Either the ACC or the Community Center or the Adult Center, whatever. But we've got to start using that all the time so that we get comfortable with that. Just a comment.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So that's it for the signage and the outreach. And I, as I say, I will write about attendance. Now is how I have, I probably don't frequent the facility as much as I should. But how open, Steve, is and Laura, how open is the center now?
Well, there's a big sign as you enter the thing that says "Welcome back." So I guess that means something. It's a sign. You have to wear a mask inside, which is fine. That's the town rules. But I enter it frequently. Either for go into a program or what have you. And the desk is manned, there are people there and there are programs going on. For example, the Tai Chi, we average about 18 to 20 people a session, and you have to pay a charge for that. But I don't know, I'll leave it to Laura, but to me, it looks completely open.
I agree. I think if you go there, you have to be masked, which is absolutely fine, but the door is open. So I haven't seen a problem going there and the door not being open. So I think that's good.
Good. Okay.
And there is a start of some new programs. Like Steve says, the Tai Chi has been super popular and it's been expanded to a second day. Suzanne's working on doing a class with Denya on music and meditation and mindfulness. So that might come in January. She has some VNA classwork that's going to be started. One's called Stepping Stones, and it'll be a slow, gradual introduction back into exercise, an exercise program for those of us who haven't done a lot of exercising. There'll be a men's exercise group with a coffee hour afterwards. So I think and she's in January, there will be an aerobic, a kind of a total body workout class, similar to maybe something that Teresa had done. There'll be one class offered in the morning and one in the afternoon. And I think the days are to be determined. So there's been somebody that's been hired to do that as well. So things are coming along. Suzanne said she had a kind of a bead on someone for yoga. Robin and I have somebody that we know in that teaches yoga in town, and we've taken yoga classes with her at Willie's years back. And I'm going to contact her to see if she might be interested in offering a class or classes at the Adult Community Center too. So I guess Cherry had a class on decoupage. I'm not sure how well attended that was, but the Friends did fund that, the materials for that. And I think that class was offered free. So there are some things that are happening, which is really good. That's what we want to see. So we applaud what's being happened. And then I think, we have to maybe prod to get more going on there.
And get the word out too. I mean, it was a pretty impressive list, I thought, Laura, of what and Evelyn, what Suzanne went over in programs. I mean, she's actually started a lot of stuff, but for the grand silence, who would know it unless you attend the meeting and you hear all the stuff? So we really,
right, of course, yeah, of course. Well, I think that the publicity with Casey Meyer writing and something, and Suzanne had indicated that she and Casey have a great relationship, so she felt she would come. And this was spoken about this meeting and also the last meeting, and hopefully Suzanne will make contact with her. But I think having something that's in the Independent about the rebranding of the senior center to the Adult Community Center is really important. And also I think the new classwork that's there, because I don't think people do know that it's open unless you happen to be on Terry's link. And I think the walking group has brought up a lot more email addresses too that bring people to get that email, that gets some information. But there's a lot of people in the community that don't receive that would like to maybe partake of some of these new classes. So I agree with Steve. I think having any sort of publicity would be really super.
Robin.
I think the website is really important. We're in California right now. And when I look at the website in Culver City Senior Center, which is still called the Senior Center, it's got all kinds of things listed, Tai Chi, all these things that I am going to take advantage of. But, that's where I think people go to look these days. And if we don't have a good place for that, I mean,
okay.
So, I don't know who's in charge of the website. I suppose Terry or Suzanne or. The other thing is, I was wondering, before Laura, I pawned off Laura asking the yoga teacher, because I don't understand how that works as far as payment. And I was told, and it could be not true, that when Jeff is doing Tai Chi, he gets asked for $60 a time and we all pay $10. And if we've got 12 or 15 in there, and he's going to do it twice a week, I just think that it's going to, $20 a week if you want to do it twice a week. Where is that money going? Not to help the senior center.
No, we actually,
Well,
that
Now,
topic.
we actually
Yeah, we
raised the
discussed that,
subject
yeah.
with Suzanne at the Friends meeting because we felt that it just was too expensive. So after a long discussion, there was an agreement, sort of I'll call it a compromise, that they were going to, the staff was going to make it known, although it was a little vague as to how it was going to do, that if you can't afford it, you could pay a reduced charge. So that's where we ended up with on that.
Yeah, but then somebody has to say they can't afford it. I mean, I don't think that's the way. But my question still is,
Robin,
where is this money going?
To the town.
Robin,
That's where it
can,
goes. It goes to the general fund of the town.
but can I just interject? This is Evelyn. Suzanne explained that, when somebody is paid like $60 an hour, the town also, because the town is required anybody working for the town to be employees. That means the town pays into your Social Security and Medicare. It also gives you a space to work, heat, electricity, all the overhead items that we don't think about, plus being covered by insurance. So the individual doesn't have to carry their own liability insurance. And that was made possible also for volunteers who are query checked. So, that it's not a simple, $60 and everything else is gravy. There's a lot of overhead to be included in that. And when the survey was done, Suzanne pointed out that people indicated, the majority of people indicated they'd be willing to pay for a program. And this is the going rate at everywhere that this kind of program is offered. So, and it's also the ups and downs. There might be times when there are not many people and you still get paid. So I just to take the other side of that, I was able to better understand the rationale for what it's worth.
I think Suzanne had also said that in the future, when the town's budgetary problems get squared away, that they would consider doing like a packet of tickets. So you bought a packet of 10 and you were ultimately maybe paying $7.50 a class instead of $10 because you bought a packet. But she said that wouldn't be happening now. The money, I guess, goes to a general fund, and I don't know how. I guess you have to request access for some of it from the town, and I don't think they're probably doing that right now because the finances are so a mess at this point. But anyway, the survey too, I think when that survey was filled out, that was requested that we put that asking if people are willing to pay, but there was no dollar amount that was there. So I think in some ways people were willing, but I think what Evelyn said is true. If you're hoping to attend a couple of classes every week, or you're attending with a spouse, so there's two of you, that over the course of a month, it could be super expensive, and that people who are really, that didn't have the resources even to attend at all, it would be difficult for them to partake in the programs, and the adult community center should be open and available to everybody, regardless of their economic ability.
Yeah, for what it's worth, even with the overhead, I think $10 is a steep charge for a lot of people. And if you're a husband and wife, that's $20. And it's not that cheap, and yes, overhead counts, but overhead is usually considered about 10 to 15% on top of the charge. So, you're talking about maybe at most $70 an hour it costs them. Meanwhile, they're collecting, if you have 18 people, you're collecting $180. And, frankly, I as far as all the general overhead. The building's open anyway. We don't ask for any extra overhead. The only thing we ask for is an instructor, and yes, he gets some fringe benefits, but he's just a part-time employee. It's not like a huge amount. But any event, like I said, it was a long discussion, and it ended up that they would try to do something to alleviate the problem for people who were, I'll call it, in need. I don't know a better word to explain that. But I don't consider that personally the greatest solution. But, like I say, we beat this to death, and maybe we just have to leave it where it is, because I don't think that she's willing to go. And I'll have to tell you, I'm not impressed with the idea that other places charge the same amount. We're our own organization, and we should do what we think is right rather than, what somebody else thinks is right. That's my own opinion on that. Listen, I don't want to keep talking, but Lillian gave me a note on the signs. The sign on Route 6 is up, as also the sign is up on that where you make the right turn off of, I guess that's Cahoon Hollow there. Both signs say COA, not either senior center or adult center. I really think these things need to be changed, because that's hopefully, who knows what the COA is unless you happen to be one of us. It's an abbreviation for, that may not be known at all. So I think those two signs need to be corrected, as well as getting the new sign up, which I'd say is in progress.
It's unfortunate that there's no staff member present, because we're sort of talking into the wind. But anyway, my comment.
No, I'll do a memo to the powers that be about the signs and the website and the numbers of folks who are attending what events. Although, judging from what Suzanne and Terry have said in the past, I get the impression, now I don't know whether it's because of publicity or lack of interest, that certain events that they think are going to do well, people just don't bother to attend. And I don't know if that's just something that's endemic to Wellfleet, or is it a communication issue? I don't know. Robin,
the lunches, which were so popular, and they tried to start again, people are still afraid of COVID. They still, especially in Wellfleet, has so much bad publicity with, wearing masks, not wearing masks, and people that have it. And they couldn't make it go because nobody wanted to go there, number one, seated with a mask. We were trying to serve it with, not touching anything. It was just a mess. And I think a lot of these group things, people are still anxious, especially older people. We are all young, but if you get to a certain age, they keep telling you that you get COVID, you're done for.
Well, Barnes,
and we won't ask for vaccination stuff. So, we're sort of sunk. But I think we have to do something about it, because as Steve said, we're going to have COVID forever. So.
Yeah, well, right now, Barnstable, for quite a while, Barnstable County has been one of the highest rated infectious rates in the New England and in the country even. And of course, now we have Omicron. So yeah, I think people are justly afraid, or maybe unjustly afraid, exaggerated, but even so, it's a huge deterrent to be out and about.
I think too, having said that I think initially, as these new programs start, we shouldn't look at their initial numbers for popularity, because I think just what Robin and I'm having a senior moment. I haven't seen you for a while.
Oh, Brian.
Brian, thank you, Brian. Just what they said. See, I'm not so young.
He's filled up with Wiener Schnitzel.
It will play into this too, the initial startup with the programs. And at the last Friends meeting, there was a vote to purchase 4 air purifiers, and that was under the recommendation of the man who's doing Tai Chi. And Steve spoke to him about the air purifier he brought in for himself. And we thought that that might help allay fears if people knew that there were these portable air purifiers in the activity room, wherever you're doing activities, and 4 of them that are enough to meet the space there. It might encourage folks to be willing to come in and to be participatory. So anyway, there's a lot of factors here. I think, COVID has and the new name and everything and the closure, there's a lot of pieces.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
mean, I was thinking about, well, should we try to, because one of the most, try to have some entertainment, like the Toast and Jam
Yeah.
folks. They were just terrific, and I'd certainly say, gee, we should try to get them back and set something up. But I think it's premature. I mean, I don't, people are, I mean, I just know how I feel. I love to go to the movies, and I have been several times. And the great part about the movies is there's no one there. So you go to the whole movie theater. I mean, we went and saw Belfast, which was, by the
Yeah.
way, is a terrific film if you haven't seen it.
Gotta
It's
see it.
just
Yeah.
a terrific film. But there
Which was
might
that?
have been 10 people there.
What movie did you say?
Well, I don't think it's a bad idea for us to host a musical event. I don't think that's a bad idea too, and it might not be as well attended as it would have been, but it's the first step. And if that information goes out and 10 people sit and enjoy the music, it's great start, and it's great for the musicians because they have employment for that afternoon or that evening. And it might even be nice if we actually do that, if we do it on a Saturday afternoon or a Friday evening, where we can encourage the people that are younger seniors that are still working to attend. So I think that's a great idea to start, maybe in the new year, to have a concert series and build upon it, unless Omicron comes and we are going back to lockdown, or it's something that's really awful. I don't know if we're spaced and we're masked and we've got purifiers in the building. I don't know if that's not a bad idea to get started. Other senior centers have their doors open and they're offering many programs. So I don't think it's bad for us to open or to offer a music program. I like that.
Evelyn, could you maybe talk to the Friends and see whether they'd be willing to fund that? Is it in our budget? No, we don't have a budget, but is it in Suzanne's budget, or does funding for that need to come from an outside source?
I think that it needs to, the Friends in the past have sponsored the cost of concerts like Toast and Jam. We paid for that. And I believe there is a willingness, that's the sense I get, to fund these kinds of things again. Maybe we would charge $5 a head to come in, or maybe not, depending on, the fundraising by Van Rensselaers was the only really, that in our membership drive were our only sources of income, and donations. People have been very generous. So as long as we have money in the bank and the project is worthy, I think there would be a willingness, especially since the concerts in the past have been so well received.
Okay.
So that's sort of a probably.
Oh no, well, I'll follow up on that too.
Okay, great.
I'll follow up on that too, because that's such an enjoyable event, and they have been so well attended.
Yeah, I will. I think you should follow up, because you might get some pushback from the town, which has taken a very conservative position. For example, even though there's these Tai Chi classes and other classes, we still have to meet by Zoom. The Friends meet, or not a town meeting, we meet at the center, so they may find that having some sort of a concert is something they don't want to do, at least until, things get a little more clarified. I just raised that as a possibility.
No, it's a good point. I'll speak to Suzanne about that. Robin.
I was going to say, if you get to the point where you have a definite idea in mind, a date that might work or might not work, and money, I'm happy to get a hold of Tim Dickey because I work with him all summer. So, but I don't know how much they're doing. Their concerts this summer were all outside, but they practice together, work together. They aren't concerned about themselves being together. It's just the crowd itself. But, I'm willing to do that, but we'll wait until we really get a firm grip on what we want.
Okay, yeah, because the other night we went to the Yule for Fuel, and they were there, and that was pretty well attended. And but there again, to get into what, you had to show your vaccination card,
Right.
which I guess the town can't do, I guess. Which is unfortunate, because I just came back from LA and we were there for a week, and you couldn't put your foot in a store without showing, a little store without showing your vaccination card.
Yes, and everybody wears a mask. So
someone met you at the door, and everyone wears a mask. Yeah.
And Press Hall requires a proof of vaccination also.
Yeah,
for any inside event there.
Yeah, I think the main difference in here in Massachusetts is whether it's a government organization or a private organization. And I think, if you're a government organization, apparently you don't have a right to demand people reveal medical information, which is unfortunate, but
it really is.
That's what we're under, all right. Now I think we've covered a lot. I guess I throw it open to if there are there any other issues, to things that you folks would like to discuss. I think we've gone over a fair amount, but I don't want to cut the meeting short or off if there's other issues that would like to address now. All right. Well then, let's set a time for the next meeting. I will copy my letter to you all.
Great.
But don't forget, we're subject to the open meeting laws. So you can look at it, but don't start emailing about this and that,
Okay.
If I screwed something up, you can give me a call, I guess. But that's all right,
Thanks for that reminder, Will. That's great.
Okay.
I needed
Because
that
it's
reminder.
easy to, no one, it's not like we have, we can't do, I'm on the zoning board of appeals. Well, we don't, we just communicate at meetings, and that's important because of the power we have. But, we don't have much power. I think we do a lot of good, but we don't have much power.
Right, right.
Hey, Will,
we can't hire and fire,
Well,
Evelyn.
oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, forget it.
Okay. All right. So
Ryan sounded like he was going to say something.
Yeah, well, I want to second what Steve said about the importance of what you're going to be putting into writing and sending forward as a marker for, getting things done rather than just talking about them or mentioning to someone. But also I'm looking at this blinking red light in the upper left-hand corner that shows that our meeting is being recorded. So if Suzanne or anyone else in the front office were to review this tape, they would hear our discussion back and forth on some of these topics, and I think that would be beneficial.
Okay, no, I will mention that they, might want to take a listen and hear our concerns.
What happened to Terry? I thought she was supposed to represent the
And what
center.
happened to Terry?
I mean, I think the fact that these people don't show up, like last time Suzanne didn't, this time Terry doesn't, I don't know. I mean, I got out of bed at 5:30 to do this. I think they should,
Come down the hall.
yeah.
Second, what Robin said, I was thinking the same thing. I didn't want to say it, but someone said it already. Yeah, they're our interface, and why don't they show up? They should.
Yeah, people also make mistakes. Hey, I've been known to miss the boat on occasion, but I understand your concern, Steve.
Once a
Laura.
month for an hour, is that so much to ask?
Laura,
Yeah, I wanted to thank Judith for coming to this meeting and to, and to encourage you. I don't know whether you've made a decision, whether you want to be a part of our board, but to super encourage you to join. We could use your
I
presence and,
think I will. I'm going to be gone in January.
okay,
I think I will after January.
that's
So thank you
great.
very much for that encouragement. I will actually be in Culver City helping my
Okay.
daughter. So
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just came back from California too.
I will.
Okay, that's lovely. Thank you. There's, I think
That's
there's,
great,
well,
Judith.
you can tell me if this is correct. There's a form that has to be filled out that you can download off of the website, and then it goes to the select board, or do you know offhand? I can't remember. It was a few years ago.
I tell you have to go fill out the form, give it to the town clerk. And then what happens is that they arrange for you to go to a meeting of the select board where you're in effect interviewed for the position, and then they vote on
Not
it.
really. They're so
What?
happy to have you. And Robin said this
Yeah,
to me when I went. She said she had
The
prepared.
only reason
this, and
I
they
I
just are
remember
happy
all
to
this
have
is
you.
I went through it, not that long ago, but you have to even take a test about the ethics rules.
oh, baloney.
Yeah.
And you have
Don't-
to pass it.
Steve,
Don't
stop
don't
talking. You're making
memorize
this hard.
You
don't
have
write a big
to,
speech like I did, because they don't even ask you anything. I'm like, wait, I want to say something. Just
Yeah,
all they
yeah.
do is check your
stand
pulse.
up, that's it.
If you have a
Yeah,
pulse,
right.
Check
you're on
your
the board.
pulse. If you breathe, you get in. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Thank you, Judith.
the next meeting will be the third Wednesday of January at 9 a.m., which is the 19th.
19th. Okay,
19th of January at 9 a.m. So I think that's it. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move.
Make them,
Okay, so moved. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's what I like to see. All right, so
Happy to celebrate.
all right, thank you all for attending.
yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Happy
you.
You
all.
will.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Good meeting.
Happy
Okay, bye-bye.
holidays.
Bye-bye.